Scott from Wessex Blade, ever the one to try and come up with something that might improve the situation slightly with finishing, stock removal, anyway, knife making in general. I noticed on the multi-wheel platens that there is a rubber belt that goes along, and I thought, wouldn't that be cool if we had something that's a little bit more forgiving underneath a belt? And my thinking was going on because of something like you do your initial handle shaping on a 36, and you're working with 3 media, you're working with 4 media, even if we think about the liners, you're working with steel, the liner material, the handle material, and the pin material, and all of them have slightly different resistances to the belt. So as you're grinding, you're up against a wheel. Now it could be a aluminium wheel, it could be a steel wheel, a contact wheel, or it could be a rubber or a Delrin one. And generally speaking, the belt's made of something hard, and the wheel is pretty hard, and so you end up basically everything's flat. So you're having to put profiles on it and then sculpt as you're going. Right. So you've created your handle, your shape at 36 grit. The next thing that I find I want to do is I want to go to a 60. You put the 60 grit on, and because the 60 grit is thinner than the 36, you end up putting more flats on it, little steppy flats on it. I wish I had like a cushion effect on either the idler or a rubber wheel under a rotary platen. And when you go to the 120, you're even more likely as something, if you were doing a shaped handle a bit like this. Mine are different. They're sculpted in so many different ways. But when it comes to doing a top of a pin and it's slightly rounded, you can't get the contact wheel to contact all of the dome, as it were, even though the radius on it is something ridiculous like 6 foot or something. You'll end up doing it in 2 or 3 strokes. Whereas, if it was going up against something that was a bit more cushioned, it would mold to the shape. That's why finishing belts, something like this, is quite easier because it just conforms. Now those are great, but sometimes on an end like this, you'll get a nice finish on the steel, but the belt scuffs scratches in the liner and the handle, and those scuffs you need to work through. It's so abrasive. It deals with the differing materials in differing ways. So, trying to get something cushioned underneath the belt. I tried thinking about using a neoprene sort of knee support, and whether it would stretch over a wheel. It just doesn't quite fit. It's too big for my 4-inch, and is nowhere near big enough to stretch over a 12-inch, but it may work. Okay, someone may be able to get a wheel. If they had a 5-inch wheel, they could cut a piece of neoprene and stretch it over to end up with a cushioned effect. So a neoprene sock around the wheel, and then the belt goes around that. I just put this on and it kind of works. Now, I'm not saying any health and safety directives have been ticked off by any of this, and whether or not it conforms to British Standard 7843.2. However, it does work because it's more forgiving than the Delrin of the contact wheel. I've never been one for using slack belt or scallop wheels because I want all my striations long ways. And when I go on the belt this way, by the time I do it, because it's tapered, it just doesn't get anywhere, because I'll lose my flared pommel. I'll be working on my front section and I won't get anywhere of this yet, so it's all just a faff. Certain things work with certain shaped handles, but with my handles I kept coming up with problems. So long and short of it, I stuffed the belt over the top of a Norton Prep finishing belt. So you may get a better fit because I've got a bit of slack at the back there. Or metron. Okay, so there's a little bit there where it's keeping up the slack. However, go slow, it works. Observe. So, the Delrin wheel, the 120 is running on top of the Rapid Prep. A little bit of slack. You may get a set of belts than yours and they fit even better than mine do. However, now I get a 120 finish on my pins without necessarily making it murder flat. And all that sculpting put onto it, I would lose because I'm doing everything in a series of flats. It works. Especially in here. Hope that helps. Wessex shed of crazy ideas. It's like, I'm doing it real slow. This is finishing, alright, not stock removal or anything. It works, honest. Or at least I like it. Bye.